Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Shri Sadguru Paramatmane Namaha. Sarva Maharshibhyo Namaha. Arjuna confesses his inability to practice this Dhyana yoga as his mind is restless. Arjuna Uvacha 33rd Sloka. Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudhana etasyaham na pasyami chanchalatvat sthitim sthiram. Substance. Arjuna said, O Krishna, the Dhyana yoga taught by you and attainable by equality of mind, I am not able to see on account of unsteadiness of mind. Commentary. Arjuna interrupts the Lord's discourse by submitting his own incapacity to attain the yoga, which requires equanimity of mind as the condition of its practice and achievement. Evidently, Arjuna is conscious of his own inadequate power of concentration on the reality. Every common human being is in the same position as Arjuna. So, his question is the question of all human beings, with very rare exceptions. As it is said already, Arjuna stands as a representative of the common man, though of higher culture, in his search for truth. Unsteadiness of mind is the basic problem for all seekers. If the mind is brought to a state of firmness, any yoga is practicable. Otherwise, nothing is possible. Arjuna opens his mind to the Lord and confesses his weakness without reservation. So, should the disciple place before the Guru his difficulties frankly. The sick man should explain his bodily condition without reservation to the doctor. Even those secrets which he would not reveal to others should be explained to the physician. Only then can the physician prescribe the correct medicine. By equality of mind means we understand that Dhyana Yoga demands one pointed concentration of the entire mind in Atma. Unless the hand is steady, one cannot pass the thread through the eye of the needle. Unless one sits steady and motionless, as the photograph can be taken properly. So, the object of concentration cannot become clear unless the moving mind comes to a standstill. The word Samyena may also be interpreted as equality of vision. Sarvatma drishtihi mentioned in the previous verse. The fickle nature of the mind is described by Arjuna. 34th Sloka. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramahadi balavadrudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayorivat sudushkaram. Substance. O Krishna, verily restless is the mind, turbulent, straying, and unyielding, and I think it is as difficult as to control it as the wind. Commentary. Yoga, union with Atma, is possible only when the mind is steady, but the mind is most infirm and unsteady. The body and senses are harassed continuously by its restlessness. Peace is practically impossible when the heart is churned by the mind like the milky ocean by the Mandara mountain. Having fed and strengthened itself on worldly things for several births, it has acquired great power and defies all attempts to bring it under control. The nature of the mind is described here by four attributes. It is restless, turbulent, strong, unyielding. Every man knows the vagaries of the mind. The elders compare it to a monkey, drunk and stung by the scorpion. Those who practice meditation know how the mind rebels and defies discipline. Arjuna compares it to the wind. It is strong and cannot be held or directed as one wishes. Sudushkaram is the word used by Arjuna, meaning that it is very difficult to control the mind. Question. What is the nature of the mind? Answer: it is restless, turbulent, strong, and obstinate. The Lord explains the method of control. Sri Bhagavanuvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Manodurnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha Gruhyate. 35th Sloka. Substance. O Arjuna, doubtless the mind is restless and difficult to restrain, but by practice and dispassion it is controlled. Commentary. The Lord accepts here that the task of restraining the mind is very difficult because of the restless nature. But there is no need to despair. It can be controlled by practice and dispassion. The great teachers point out that there are ways and means of overcoming the difficulties in the control of the mind. The Lord, while admitting the mind's restlessness, encourages Arjuna that there is a way to control it, and the way is practice and dispassion. One need not fear the strength of an enemy, provided he arms himself with a mightier weapon. What if the elephant is strong? It is enough if one holds the iron rod. Lions and tigers are strong, but what of it? A powerful gun is enough to overpower them. Thus, the Lord wants his disciple not to become panicky and submit to the tyranny of the mind. Though difficult, it is not impossible. It is not difficult to conquer Mount Everest, and yet man has set his foot on the snowy peak. Is it not difficult to land on the moon? And yet man stepped on the moon. The achievements of man prove that things difficult are not things impossible of attainment. So the nature of the mind, be it what it is not possible to overcome. This part of the Gita is of the great importance for all those who wish to tread the spiritual path, enslaved by which man from time immemorial is undergoing torments of earthly existence, that which has been the cause of the endless series of births and deaths, that which stands as a mighty barrier between man and the realization of his self. The mind and its conquest are explained here by the Lord. The inspiring message of the Lord should encourage every seeker to gird up his loins and pull himself together for the conquest of the apparently impossible obstacle on his way to spiritual glory. The Lord answers that the mind can be controlled by practice, abhyasa, and dispassion, vairagya. Patanjali also expressed the same view. Dispassion, vairagya, means a loathful attitude to the objective world arising out of a knowledge of its short-lived, painful, and foul nature. Why should man seek for illusionary, painful pleasures when there is eternal Brahmananda awaiting him as his birthright? Human life is short and splits like a bubble. Why should man undergo all the ills and pains of life when perennial joy is his divine inheritance? Why should he yield to the temptations of wealth and luxury when he knows that they are the very source of fear and suffering? All men long for peace. All men know that peace is not to be found anywhere in the outside world and cannot be purchased by the weight of gold or height of possession. Man really seeks for a purer joy and higher peace. To give up the lower pleasures is easy enough if the aim of the higher life is strong and convincing. In the world, everything causes fear, and in dispassion alone is fearlessness. When dispassion develops, the mind immediately stops thinking of the external world and it is immediately drawn into the self. The joy of vairagya is real, unobstructed, and perennial because it is a joy of the self, pure and uncontaminated. Practice, abhyasa, is the keynote of the Lord's message for all spiritual aspirants. The baby learns to walk by practice. The child learns to read and write by practice. The architect, the painter, the poet, the musician, the sportsman, the athleteman of all professions acquire perfection by practice. Where practice is less, the achievement is also less. Idleness wins nothing, and on the spiritual path, idleness is the greatest enemy. All worldly gains have been acquired by hard work and constant application. The man who feels shy of labor remains where he is. Men of ordinary talents have risen in life by systematic practice in their professions of skill. That being so, is not practice necessary for attaining the highest Brahmananda? Therefore, practice, says the Lord. This passion aids spiritual sadhana and practice aids to strengthen dispassion. The body and the mind function by habit. If the habits are bad, man ruins himself. If the habits are good, man saves himself. So one should practice and develop good habits. If a man is accustomed to visit a wine bar at a particular time in the day, at that exact hour the body and mind run for the bottle and nothing can stop him. In the same way, if a man practices meditation at a particular time for a particular period, the body and mind run for it and nothing can stop him. It is practice. When it is performed systematically and regularly, it becomes automatic, and afterwards, no effort is needed to coax the mind and body to do it. As meditation becomes deeper and deeper, the joy felt at that time is so precious that man does not care to think of anything else. He is absorbed in it. So practice, says the Lord. Arjuna is here addressed as mighty armed Mahabaho. Arjuna is mighty warrior, a great hero, and the Lord suggests that he should be able to control the mind without fear and despondency. Question: what is the nature of the mind? Answer: it is unsteady and difficult to control. Question: what is the way to control it? Answer: practice and dispassion.